This one? Okay. Well, good morning, boys and girls, and how we doing today? Sorry, the mic wasn't. I don't know why, but sometimes OBS, which is the software I use for streaming, doesn't like to save the mic settings. I don't know. Anyways, good morning. How we doing today? Let's get this shared around and get the doobly-doo up and working, and we'll be off to the races. Copy. Yes, good. Bloop. Okay, that's done. Pop out the chat. Though I have a strange feeling no one's going to be here today. So no one was here last week. And I was just talking to myself like an idiot. That's okay, though. Finally got it finished. Pretty, isn't it? Let's see if I can find something that catches the gold. That gold is brilliantly shining. It's kind of hard to see on screen. But yeah, that is brilliantly gold. Cannot wait to hang this up on Monday. The youngling is going to be so shocked. It's going to be great. Not shocked, but happy. At least I think so. He's been helping me make it for the last couple weeks. Had a couple faux pas while making it too. Well, I've screwed up a few things while making them. I'm trying to make one of those grip clicky thingies. It's for like pain stemming. And for whatever reason, my printer screws up when it's doing the actual grip part. Like the spikes and stuff feel good, but it's not getting tall enough. Because ideally, what it is, it has 4 components. So you got the spring here, which just keeps tension on things. It's more of a passive spring than an active one. But you got this little guy, which you can twist and turn because it has these little detents on it. There's 2 little arms here which move in and out, which have little balls on them. So as you spin it, it'll click through. Click, 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 click. And then hold everything together. You got this little guy at the bottom that'll screw into the base. Now, threads turned out surprisingly well, actually. But the whole idea is, spring down here. I'll keep that up. Press up to the top, so that you can click it in and out, or you can twist it and make clicking noises, and then you have the grip, which is spiky, which is supposed to help self-harm and stuff. But none of it works unless I get that barrel, the grip, printed properly. So I still need to figure out that and why that's not working. baby steps. Then I think I'm going to produce a dozen or so of them. And as usual, I have a ton of cleaning to do. What's this from?
Bugles.
What movie was it that had McDougal's in it? They were in a lawsuit against McDonald's. I can see the guy's face. He was. I can see the restaurant owner's face. You know, kind of tall black guy, slightly chubby face, but otherwise completely nondescript. What movie was that from? I want to say Coming to America, but I don't remember. Anyways. My brain pops up weird movie references, like, all the time. What would be a fun movie to watch? I think I might watch it. I don't know. I kind of want to watch it tonight. Kind of want to wait till I have the young one with me. Crocodile Dundee. I think that's just a fun movie. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think I'm actually at the point now with this whole space and the level of things I want to do that it's just about time to start putting together like kits. Not kits, but containers to contain all the different disciplines of things. Like right now things are kind of loose. I want to get more containers, especially for up here and up here, to really organize that space a lot better, and start tackling. You can't see it, but behind the camera is a huge conflagration of all sorts of crap. It's a right shit show, and I have a lot of projects that are coming up that definitely need to have this addressed first. You can see piles of paperwork and stuff. This desk should be clean. Both of my desks should be clean. I don't have enough space to do much of anything, and that's my own fault. Yeah. I really need to go through all this stuff and do a clean out and get more baskets, more bigger baskets. And throw away a ton of shit from up here. The problem with that is time and energy. Like, it doesn't bug me unless I come over here to sit down and do work, and then it bugs the piss out of me. I need to get all my sewing stuff together, go through it. Get all my sewing stuff together, get all my leather stuff together. 3D printers, pretty much. The 3D printer and the laser are pretty much self-contained in their own thing over there. Same thing with my Cricut, which I haven't used in an embarrassingly long time. However, I am getting a new vehicle very soon, and that is going. I'm thinking about doing a stencil, about painting it, doing a stencil on it. It's white. So. And I don't know if you know much about me, but I abhor white cars. So we're going to have to do something about that. And I am always open to suggestions. It has to go to that. So guys, I have a bit of a problem. Well, it's not a bit of a problem. I properly screwed up. Making a bed for little man. I bought him instead of like a toddler bed, I bought him a twin size mattress. And for some reason, I haven't had the specs up for the sizes and everything of twin mattresses, and I designed everything in an AutoCAD. Somehow, some way, I ended up really getting the sizes wrong, and I cut 15 slats at 36.5 inches. Which should have been 38.5 inches. So, whoops. So now I have 15 2x4s at 3 foot. Well, 3.5 inch. And I have an idea of what I might want to do with it. I'm thinking that I would like to so I don't know if you remember on the channel, but way back when I first started, about 7-8 years ago. Yeah, about 7 or 8 years ago. I made a set. I designed and made a set of Adirondack chairs. Very comfortable. Like very comfortable. I was planning on producing those, but the thing with that was I wanted to do, at the time, I was doing plywood sides, nice 3/4 inch ply, but plywood sides, and I was using furring strips to go, to bridge the gap. That's what you sat on. And instead of the normal hard surfaces that super flat surfaces that a lot of Adirondack chairs have, mine was actually kind of swept. So it would sweep up and then down into your seat, and then up, and then the the spine of it was straighter, but it was still somewhat curvilinear. It was a very oversized chair, and you had the arms kind of came close to the body, but the supports for the arms flared out, so you could sit back, and if you wanted to, you could spread your legs or sit cross-legged in them, where most Adirondack chairs are not able to. So, but they were very nice. They had 2 cup holders, and as far as I know, they're still in use, because I gave them, when I moved out of that apartment, I gave them to my neighbors across the street. They used them for a year or two, and then their son came back and got a place in the area, so they gave them to him. So they did last quite a bit, and he might still be using them or whatnot, but that was plywood and furring strips. Now, I still think I might use the furring strips, but I want to try making a pair, and I think I'll use the 2x4s for this. So I need to make a pattern, and then use the 2x4s for the body and the cross members. So what I'll do is I'll rip the fillets off the 2x4, so I have a nice rectangular chunk with square edges. And what I would do is I need to get a pattern laser cut. I can't do it with my laser. Out of acrylic. And if I can, get some joinery going on, so I can join the pieces, glue certain pieces where it's going to be a cut through, and where it's like, angled, I can do that whole spiel. Anyways, I can do a glue up real quick and get everything cut and glued together nicely, and then go back and use the template as a template, and use my router to get a perfect shape for each of them, instead of when I was doing it out of plywood. No, I got very close, mind you. I'm very good with a jigsaw. Very, very good with a jigsaw. It's more of a scroll saw, actually, but regardless. All the pieces were slightly different, and it was very wasteful. I could get one body of one seat out of one full-size sheet of plywood. So that was pretty wasteful. And all of the parts, like all of the excess parts, the waste from that, the scrap, they were all very awkward sizes, so it was very hard to utilize them for anything else, even to break them down and everything else, because everything had a weird curve on it somehow, somewhere. Or at least most of them did. So I think using 2x4s will be good in that respect. Also, though, I eventually want to start making the bodies out of hardwood. So using the 2x4s first will, one, it'll help me proof the idea, basically. So I can get a pretty good idea if something's going to work right or not. And since I already have the material, why not? Right? I do have to rework the pattern a little bit, just for the body of it, just because it was designed originally for plywood, the tolerances of plywood, and I wasn't really limited by shape as much as I was durability. So I made certain choices. with the 2x4s, I am much less limited on the strength of things, but I'm more limited on the form they have to take. And it depends on how crazy I want to get with it, because originally I wanted to have these so I could semi-mass produce them, and everything would flat pack and ship. Now, the size and scale that I wanted to go with everything, while yes, it was doable, it wasn't practical. And then once you got it on the receiving end, you'd have to have a screw gun of some sort to assemble everything. I mean, you could do it with a screwdriver, I suppose, but that would take forever. Not forever. Everything is already pre-drilled and everything, so all you had to do was put the screws in, line it up, click, screw them down. So it wouldn't have been that bad, but still a bit of more of a pain in the ass than most people would have liked, I think. So the idea then would have been to find a way to do everything, attach everything so you didn't have to use tools. And perhaps I'll still go that route. I'm not sure. But eventually, well, I think what would be nice is if I could do everything, so everything connected with, so the slats that make up the seated area, I think I could get away with doing dovetails with that, the whole thing, if I put in a bunch of mortise and tenons to hold the bodies together, and use one of those draw pegs. Not sure how I would do the arms yet. To keep those sturdy and stable, because they were screwed into the back, and then the leg of the arm was screwed into the leg of the chair. But eventually I want to do them all in hardwood. Oak or something would look really nice, I think. Maybe ash. Oak and ash and thorn, good sirs, on a midsummer's morn. I think that could look really pretty. And I also want to show up Kenny at 570 Union Vapors, just because I can. And he went to school to be a woodworker. I didn't. So of course I have to produce something better. So it's a very one-sided competition, but still it's a competition. Yeah. But I think it'd be real nice if I could, if the whole thing didn't have to be, you didn't have to use a tool really to assemble it, maybe a mallet to assemble it and disassemble it. And that'll take a little bit of finessing and a little bit of work. But yeah, it is what it is. But if I can get everything designed so that, I can start doing that, then I can start figuring out how to source material. And once I got the material source, which I know, I think where I'm going to go for it. It's Carl something. It's a lumber mill that's not too far from the shop. Very decent and honest guys to deal with. I like using them. I've used them a bunch in the past. The other lumber mill I like using is out in Lake Ariel, and that is a drive. It's like an hour and change from here. and then it's still another hour and a half from there to the shop. So it's a drive, it's a hike. Only guy I found that had 8 and 9/4 lumber though in the area, which is nice. Most people only carry like 5/4, which makes sense. It's much more. It's used much more often, the 5/4 stuff, because once you mill it down and stuff, you get 4/4 or maybe 3/4 lumber out of it. Which, while not great, is your standard working dimensions for most things. You go to a big box store and you buy, a 1x6. It's really 3/4 by 5.5 or 5 3/4. So, but every now and then you need something that's a little bit beefier. And I remember when I was making the youngling's crib, I actually went up and got some 8/4 lumber off him, which is more like 9.5. Big slab of oak, and it was bone dry, stupid straight. There's a slight warp to it, but not a big one, and very little binding. Very little binding. Still bound up a little bit, but very little, especially for a piece that big. You'd expect there to be a ton of internal stress, and not really. Now, I could have just gotten lucky. It's possible, but I don't think so. There was a reason I was going on about this, and I can't remember. Oh yeah, the lumber. But yeah, if I can figure out how to, I think if I can figure out how to do that, then I'll be in a real good position to sell everything the way I want to. And if I get the jigs and the stuff together, so I just have to rough cut things, glue them together, and then tape this jig down, and I think I think that's the way to go. Now, my only question is, how do I want to attach the pieces? I've seen guys do dominoes, and it depends upon I know a lot of it will depend upon the orientation that I decide which way would work best. And when I mean the orientation, the grain orientations, of which what type of joint will work better. But I finally have a nice porch again. I actually got several porches. So, and I want to be able to sit out there. Especially once it's, the weather gets nice. I want to be able to sit out on my front porch and have my, get up early, have a coffee, maybe have a pipe, and just enjoy the mornings again. Because for a long time I haven't been. I haven't really had the opportunity or the space to enjoy a morning outside. So, especially because I'd be so wrapped up in getting ready for work, or maybe even just having somewhere nice to sit down in the evening and have a beer and bullshit with somebody. It's not inside. I like taking advantage of the outside as much as possible. And now that I have, that porch, and I have some nice hedges in front of it, still, even sitting on the porch is still very private, which is a joy. I need to take advantage of that. So that's why I want to do these, I want to do these chairs so I can use that space. I also want to put a little hummingbird feeder out there, so it'd be nice, like in the morning, if I could see some hummingbirds, hopping and flopping about. That'd be really nice too. Yeah, but if I can figure a way to do it without using hardware, I think that'd be the real ticket, don't you? Very dead in here this week and last week. Oh, I wonder why that is. Not even a single person on here. So next week, since next week is Easter, I will not be doing a live stream. However, the following week, because it'll be my 330th episode, I will be doing a giveaway. So I need to figure out what to do as the giveaway. And I'm kind of thinking about doing one of my, either doing a pouch or something spring related. Be able to do a hat. He has a lot of fun hats. It's been a while since I've actually made something on the live stream. Or I used to be making and working on things all the time. And that does disappoint me a little bit. So could do a nice little cowboy hat too. That does look handsome. I don't think I have the leather for that though. That's the problem. I a lot of this stuff I don't have the leather for. So bucket hat looks cute to make. Doesn't look super difficult either. Yeah. He has a lot of fun stuff. Though I think for a lot of these hats with wider brims, like the Plague Doctor hat and you know, to get the bends and folds in them, I think I would need some armature wire, which I don't have. I use a lot of diesel punk patterns, but I would like to do his shoes, but my feet are just too big. He doesn't make anything for my size feet, which is disappointing. I do appreciate, though, that he's starting to do a lot of his patterns with the DXF format as well as PDF. So that way I could just throw it right into my laser and cut them out, because when you're working with patterns like this, you need all the holes to line up. The problem with that is you have to punch all these holes, and it's not like a standard pattern where you can use a pricking iron. They're the round holes, so I have a round hole punch, and then I have the standard leather punch, which the round holes take more force, but also it it's 4 in a straight line. So as soon as you start having any sort of curve, you need to go to the regular punch, and you can be there for hours and hours and hours. Your whole hand and forearm is cramped up. It's not the best thing on earth. It's really not. It's a real pain in the ass. So the fact that he's starting to make these so that there are can be done with the laser, and then I just have to finish things and sew it together, makes it a lot easier. A lot easier on the hands, a lot more doable. He does have a lot of fun patterns, though. So him and Chuck over at Leather. And the guy at Quarter Leather. They're probably the 2 best, or 3 best tutorial guys on YouTube for leather work. If you're joining in, say hello. It's much more fun that way. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I've been getting a ton of spam the last couple weeks. Like, an obscene amount of it. Need to figure out what to do. And why I'm getting so much spam. I forget how this goes together. Pretty sure these are all the pieces. What? 6? I think it's 6 pieces on this puzzle. Alan, good morning. How are we doing today, brother? Maybe. Good news, I found a vehicle. I don't have it yet, but I found one. I don't know how this thing goes back together. Yes, but I found a vehicle. It's a 2008 Jeep Liberty. Not the ideal, but 1, beggars can't be choosers, and 2, well, it's well within my price range. Sometimes that's half the battle, right? Well, for me. That's kind of been the whole battle. Let's get that turned on. That's better. So, Alan, how are you doing today, buddy? Brother? Kind of screwed up with the bed I was making for a little man. Trying to figure out what to do with everything. Sent some photos. What are you working on? Not a cross. That is a crossbow. All right. Look at that. That's nice. Sent you updated pics of the crossbow build and string. Yes. Now, what's that body out of? That looks like it's walnut or black walnut of some sort. And it looks like you're using a Yep. Yes. Always makes me happy when I'm able to identify things by sight. And you're using a pre-manufactured limb, right? That's what it looks like. So what's the draw weight of this going to be? And did I send you the... I did not. I think... I saw a really good mechanism, a firing mechanism for a crossbow. 70 pounds. Ooh. Very nice. You know, I would like to make myself a crossbow. But I want to be that jackass who does everything from scratch. Maybe not the string. Maybe. I'm not sure. But I would like to forge out the limb and do that from scratch. It'd be very difficult to get it down to 70 pounds though, because I'm thinking it'd be much higher. I think I would also want an oven for that, or a kiln of some sort, to really control the tempering process. I think that would be much more critical than how I do it with swords and knives. I made the string. Oh, you made that? Let me take a look at that again. You made that string. Really? Very impressive. Very well done, Alan. Yeah, if I think about it after we get off, I'll send Jill the I think it was on TikTok, the TikTok of the release mechanism for the crossbow, and you could take a look at it. Unless you're on TikTok too, I don't know if you are. Are you? Otherwise, I could shoot it over to you there. And if I remember correctly, there wasn't. You didn't actually have to forge the pieces, but there was stock removal from some plate that would form the release. Either way, good stuff. A lot of things I need to get to, a lot of little projects and stuff. Sometimes it's hard seeing what takes priority. Right now I'm working on Little Man's bed. I screwed up. I cut all of the slats for the bed at 36.5 inches, and they needed to be at 38.25. All 15 of them. I even tried, yesterday I got the body of the bed assembled and everything, in place. And I thought, well, you know what? Let me just put these in here and see how bad it really is. And then when I put everything together, if the bed wiggles at all, those slats have enough lateral movement that they can just slip all the way out and fall. It's like, this bed's supposed to be like 4 feet high, so I think that would be rather bad if that were to happen, don't you? Yeah, so pretty upset with myself on that one. Pretty upset with myself. But what you gonna do? Whoops. So I gotta go buy another, what is it? 7 2x4s. And then I get in for the under area. I also need to get a sheet of plywood so I can make the tabletop area. Yeah, very upset with myself on that. I should have known better. I designed the whole thing too in AutoCAD. I had the numbers up, designed everything, sized everything, printed out a drawing for myself. Still managed to screw the whole thing. How we managed that, I don't know. But I did. Did a good job of screwing it up too. Screwed it up all the way. Not halfway. I didn't half-ass it. I whole-assed that screw up. If it was 1/4 inch short, yeah, whatever. It's 1/4 inch. 2 inches off. Even 1/2 inch would have been fine. Nope. Not this mook. I'm going to screw it up. I'm going to screw it up all the way, apparently. Oh well. Live, laugh, lay down suppressing fire, right? Now, I do have the Arts on Fire festival. I got confirmed for that. So I'm going to be there both days. which is cool. The first day I'm just going to be doing demonstrations and selling. Day 2, I'm going to be doing demonstrations, selling, and I have classes that are open to the public. And I already have pre-sales, which is insanity to me. But I have pre-sales. So I need to start ordering stuff, a bunch of stuff. I need to order spats in case people wear inappropriate footwear. I need goggles and hearing aids and a couple sizes of gloves. I need to get some cheap aprons. And I need to get material. I'm doing J-hooks for kids, 10 and up. Even though the youngling is a full blacksmith at 5, it also took him years of learning. So for a 5-year-old to have the patience and understanding of what's going on, to not be a danger to himself in the smithy. A random 5-year-old, no. So I'm going to have to figure something out for that. So I think 10 years old, I think, is the youngest I'm going to allow to sign up for the classes. So J-hooks from 10 up and up, and then from 18 and up I'm going to do herb choppers. So I need to get a bunch of bars of 1095 and get them pre-cut and mostly mash down the get them pre-cut the length and also get the tab. I think I want to get that pre-cut and then bent at a 90-degree angle, just as a starter for people. I think I want to get another pair of knife tongs as well. I think that'd be pretty easy for people to do, and I want to get a bunch of 1095 anyways, and pre-make a bunch of herb choppers and pre-make. I need to make a bunch of shit. So I think after I get the bed and maybe one other small project done for the house. From now till then, I'm going to be just doing everything I can to make the mobile smithy and get as many stuff done, pre-done as possible. I'm planning on taking. I want to get a mobile forge put together, which I'm going to be using the brake drum that you sent me as the fire pot for that. I have a big plate of steel that I can put on top of it. And then I'll be able to bolt some stuff all together and get all that squared away pretty nicely, I think. I just need to get a good air source for it. And I want to do a bellows, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that would be good enough. You know, I'll be bringing both forges to the event. I'll be bringing, that mobile forge, and then also my my gas forge as well. I think the solid fuel forge would be much better for the J-hooks for the younger crowd. So I need to get a rig for that. So I need to either do a squirrel cage like I wanted to do, squirrel cage with a flywheel and treadle, or have a rig for an overhead bellows. For an underhung bellows like I have at the shop now. I also need to get a workbench together, so I need to design a workbench. There's a lot that needs to happen between now and June, July? I can't remember. May, June. I think it's June. So I have, a month and a half? I have a lot to do in a month and a half, because that's only, 2 days a weekend? So it's 6, so I have 12 days to get all this together. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a real lot to get this done. So I think what I'm going to do with some of those 2x4s that I cut too short is going to be to make an anvil stand for the other anvil. So I can bring 2 anvils, 2 forges, and a workbench. Oh, goodness gracious, it's already 10 o'clock, so that's the hour, guys. Wow, that flew by. Anyways, I gotta get down to the shop and get some stuff done. Yeah. Gotta get a lot of stuff done. So, I'm gonna head out, because I need to get dressed for the shop, because it's still cold out. It's supposed to be in the 50s today, but it's still too cold to be comfortable, So, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thanks for having a cup of coffee, and thank you for helping make this world better. One kerf at a time, and I'll see y'all later.